Hey folks, welcome to the very first video of the Flutter course brought to you by Newton School. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Harsh Kumar Khatri and I'll be your instructor for this particular course. I am currently interning at Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, India, and I am an ex-Flutter developer intern for a company named AppScript, where my primary role was to develop Flutter applications. These are my socials. You can connect with me through them if you want to discuss something or you have any queries regarding this particular course. So you must be thinking what Newton School is. So basically Newton School is a platform which will help you to learn and develop the skills that you need for your best tech career. There are courses specifically designed for freshers, working professionals and for women with no prior experience in tech. Newton School first trains you for 6 months and helps you become a full stack developer. It also has a network of more than 300 great companies who hire directly from Newton School. So once the training is complete, Newton School also ensures that you are placed with one of the best companies in the country. There is also a pay after placement program where you don't have to pay Newton School anything until you are placed with a minimum CTC of 5 lakh rupees per annum. There is also another awesome initiative which they are having, which is a launchpad, through which you will be getting some of the courses free of cost, and then you can directly complete these courses and get the certificate of completion for the same. Now let's get directly to the video. So we'll be starting by having a look at what Flutter and Dart actually are. So Flutter is a UI toolkit for creating fast, beautiful and natively compiled mobile application with one programming language and a single code base. It is an open source development kit which is developed by Google. Flutter is not a language but an SDK, and we use Dart programming language to create the apps. It was first released in 2017. The latest update of Flutter, which is released in 2021, allows us to create application for mobile, desktop and web, all from a single code base. Let's have a look at what Dart actually is. So Dart is a general purpose object oriented programming language which is having a C style syntax. It is open source and also developed by Google and released in 2011. The purpose of Dart programming language is to create a front-end user interface for the web and mobile apps. It is an important language for creating Flutter apps. The Dart language can be compiled both in AOT and JIT. So you must be thinking what AOT and JIT is. So let's have a look at them as well. So basically AOT and JIT are two different methods of compilation which can be used to compile the code from a higher level language to a lower level language. AOT stands for ahead of time compilation, in which higher level languages is compiled into a lower level language before the execution of the program, and this all happens usually at the build time so that we can reduce the amount of work which is needed to be performed at the runtime. Whereas JIT stands for just-in-time compilation, which involves the compilation of a code from a higher level language to a lower level language during the execution of the program, that is at the runtime. These are some of the examples of languages which use AOT and JIT. So you can see that JVM uses AOT and Node.js V8 also uses AOT. Whereas on the other hand, Java and JavaScript use JIT method of compilation for converting the code from higher level languages to lower level languages. Now you must be thinking what all things we can do with Flutter or what Flutter can do. So basically Flutter can do anything that a native application can do by using the platform channel and message passing which is available in Flutter. So what platform channel and message passing means? So by the use of Flutter we can do anything by using the different channels and passing message among them. So we can pass a message through the code which we want the app to perform or how we want the app to perform, and on the basis of the message which we have passed or the code which we have written, the app will be performing as expected. You can also see here that Material and Cupertino are written over here. So what are these? So these are basically two packs which are available in Flutter SDK out of the box. These provide you with all the features, all the resources which you will be needing for developing your Android and iOS app. So we generally use a Material pack for developing our Android application and the Cupertino pack for developing our iOS application. But it is not specific for each of these. You can also use Cupertino pack for developing or implementing some of the features from iOS app into your Android application. Like there is the back button which is different from Android app present in the iOS mobile app. So you can implement that feature inside your Android app as well. And you can also implement some animations like the slide animation and other thing inside your Android applications as well. Now you must be thinking why you should be choosing Flutter or preferring Flutter as compared to the other solutions or other languages which are currently available in the market. Let's have a look at some of the best things which Flutter has to offer and why you should choose Flutter over other solutions which are available. So basically Flutter overcomes traditional limitation of cross-platform approach. So you must be knowing that before Flutter was released, or before the cross-platform application development came into the scene, the big companies which were developing apps, they have to develop an Android app and an iOS app separately from different code base. There were two development teams which came into picture that time. One team was working on the Android app and second team was working on the iOS app. Not only this, if there is some feature which is limited to a particular Android version like 4.2 or 4.4, then the alternative thing or alternative implementation of that feature has to be implemented in the other versions. So that was also creating a lot of fuss while developing Android applications. So Flutter solves this issue by providing you with a cross-platform approach through which you can develop applications for different OSs like mobile, web and desktop, all from a single code base. It is also increasing the productivity 10 times because of the features which it is providing, like hot reload, hot restart, and all the things which are coming in it out of the box, like the widgets which we are using and other implementations which are present inside it. So we don't have to write all the things all from scratch, or we don't have to use all the things or make all the things. Apart from that, the features which I mentioned like hot reload and hot restart, I'll be talking about them in detail in the coming videos. So stay tuned for the same. It is also providing us a feature of developing front-end and back-end application with a single code base. So we can develop both the things with a single code base. We don't have to assign teams for working on the front end first and then working on the back end later. We can do both the things directly from single code base. It is also providing powerful UI experience out of the box. So as I mentioned previously, that it is having Material and Cupertino pack through which we can use various different implementation and make a large number of UIs, beautiful UIs directly out of the box. We are also having Firebase support provided to us with the help of Flutter. With the help of this Firebase support, we can implement various different functionalities like the authentication part is there, online database is there, online storage solution, cloud functions, notification service. We can implement all these different services with the minimum code base needed, and we can directly integrate those things inside our Flutter application. So Firebase support is one of the best things which is provided to you as a developer, where you have to integrate various different things and make sure that everything works. Firebase is one of the best thing to use. The next feature which we have here is that Flutter apps can be customizable for all different platforms. So for example, if you are developing a particular app and you want to develop the heading in the app bar, so you can like customize that particular heading for your Android app, and you can customize that particular heading for your iOS app. You can use different features or different code snippets which are available out of the box, and you can check if the current OS version is of Android or of iOS, and on the basis of that you can implement various different things and like customize the heading in your app bar or perform different things. Another best feature which Flutter provides is that you have to worry less about testing, because earlier when you were developing any of the application or any of the web projects, then you have to test the app to be perfectly working before like releasing it in the production part. In Flutter, as you are having a single code base for different applications like for the web, for the iOS, for Android, the testing time is minimized, because some of the bugs which can be common are directly implemented or are directly solved by testing a single version of the app or by testing the app on the single OS. It also provides a relief to the testers who are working on testing the Flutter application. Next, and one of the biggest thing which has made Flutter so popular in the current scene is the community support which it is getting. So community has supported Flutter a lot. The people from the community have also tested the initial versions of the Flutter and have raised various different issues in the Flutter repository which is available on GitHub, which has helped the Flutter team to improve the versions of the Flutter and have helped the team to release different features in Flutter. And you can see the popularity which Flutter has taken place in such a short period of time. So it was released in 2017, and in 2021 it is having a large market. It has already captured a large market for Android and iOS or cross-platform development. Now let us have a look at the basic file structure which is present in Flutter. So in this particular video, I will be giving you a gist of what file structure basically looks like. In the upcoming video, I will be discussing about three different Flutter structure or Flutter architectures which are available, which companies use for developing their apps. So basically in Flutter, when you are creating a Flutter project, then you are provided with different directories with the name of Android, iOS, lib, test, and there are two files. Although there are many files which are available, but here I have shown only two files which are available apart from the folders. In the Android directory, you have all the files related to your Android app. While you will be developing your Android app, this directory will be responsible for developing your Android app. In the iOS directory, you have all the things related to your iOS app. In the lib directory, we store all the files related to Dart and for the Flutter application. So lib directory is the directory which we'll be working or we'll be storing most of our files in. In this directory only we'll be creating all our Dart files and storing our particular code. The test directory contains all the files which you are writing or all the code which you are writing for testing the application. The test can be related to the API or to the screen loading or to some widget loading, etc. So this holds all the things which are related to the test. In README file we store, it is basically used for decorating your like repository when you are hosting it on GitHub. So you can add some things about or overall layout of your what the project has inside this README directory before hosting it on GitHub. Next we have the pubspec.yaml file, which is also one of the useful files through which we can add or remove various different packages and also add various different implementation which our Flutter app can have by implementing or by changing the code which is present in the pubspec.yaml file. So this is a general look of the directory structure which our Flutter project have. I'll be covering about it in the upcoming videos. I'll be covering more about it in the upcoming videos. So as I mentioned earlier that Flutter is related or Flutter is inspired from React Native or React. So let's look at how it is related to or inspired from React. So in the top image you can see the implementation for React Native application, and in the bottom image you can see the implementation of Flutter. So here you can see that in Canvas or Event, these are basically the things which an app gets from the user or which an app displays to the user. So Canvas is basically the screen on which the things are displayed inside our app, and events are the things which we perform inside our app. When we are doing any of these things or when some of the things are displayed, then we are directly providing the output to the native widgets, which is then compared on the basis of the things which we have done. It will be updating the thing, and the app or the virtual tree of the app will be changing accordingly. But in case of Flutter, the Canvas element and the widget tree is directly connected. So as soon as you will be performing any of the thing, the widget tree will be rebuilding and the rendering will be taking place automatically. So you must be thinking what difference these things can bring. So this will be helping in improving the performance of your Flutter application a lot, and it will be improving the speed of your Flutter application as well, and you can make the changes to your Flutter app directly without any fuss while you are working on the app in the development phase. So this is how Flutter is related to React. Now this is a basic gist of how the code in Flutter looks like. Here you can see that we are having a top level widget as Inkwell, then we are having another widget as container, text and button name. These are some of the widgets. So this is how the basic code in Flutter looks like, that we have a widget tree, one widget has another widget as a child, then it is having another widget as a child. So this is how it looks. You don't need to worry if you can't understand anything for now. I'll be explaining it all in the upcoming videos. Now let's get started with the installation of the Flutter. So you can directly head to flutter.dev/doc/get-started/install for installing the Flutter for your appropriate operating systems. I'll be showing you how you can install Flutter for Windows, and will be explaining you how you can do the same for Mac OS and Linux. So let's get to the installation part directly. Let me switch my tab. So what you have to do is you have to open a new tab and you have to type Flutter installation and your OS version. So I have typed Windows over here. So when you will be hitting over here, you will be provided with the top link, and when you will be clicking in it, you will be provided with the requirements and how you can install the Flutter SDK in your app. I'll be showing you the complete process, so don't need to worry. But first let's have a look at the system requirements. So for running the Flutter SDK in a proper way, you need to have your operating system as Windows 7 or above. You need to have your disk space at more than 1.64 GB. So it does not involve the disk space for IDE or tools. So this should be separately available for Flutter SDK. And you should have the different tools like Git and Windows PowerShell at the appropriate versions which are mentioned over here. Now one interview question which is asked from a Flutter developer is why there is Git needed for installing Flutter, or why do we need Git while we are installing Flutter in our operating system. So the answer to this is very simple, that when we are installing Flutter, we are directly installing the stable release or the SDK for it. But when the Flutter is installing or the first Flutter app is running inside our code editor, so what generally happens is it fetches some of the dependencies or some of the things from the GitHub code or from the Flutter repository directly. So for that we need git install or git working fine inside our app. So that's why we need git install while we are installing Flutter, so that all the things which are missing can be fetched directly from GitHub. Now let me download this Flutter stable zip over here. So here you can see that it is downloading. I'll be pausing the video and will be continuing once it is downloaded completely. So you can see that the download is completed. So now let me create a new folder for this so that I can extract the download files in that folder. So just a sec, I'll create a new folder on my desktop and let me move this file to this particular folder. Yeah, so the file has moved. Let me switch the screen in the OBS. So I have moved the stable zip file which we have downloaded inside a desktop folder which I have created with the name of DSK. Let me unzip or extract this file over here. This can take some time for getting extracted, so be patient until the file is getting extracted. The extraction is complete over here. Let's go inside this extracted folder and see what are the files. So here you can see that we have a bin directory, a dev directory, an example directory, along with some other directories and files which are present over here. So currently we have extracted this stable zip only. Now we need to set the environment variables for this. But before, we need to move this inside our C directory. So I'll be cutting this file from here. And I'll go inside my local disk C where my Windows files are stored, and I'll be creating a folder with the name of src. So if you already have a folder with the same name created, so you don't need to create it again. But if you don't have one created, so you can create a folder with the name of src over here. And inside this you need to paste the directory which we have just extracted. So here you can see that my Flutter directory is already pasted over here. So now we have to set some of the environment variables for this so that the terminals can recognize that Flutter is installed, and then we can run the Flutter from anywhere inside our computer. So let's set the environment variables. For that you need to click on the start menu and type env and click enter. It will be opening a window like this for you. Now you have to click on this environment variables button. Inside here you can see that we are provided with two options. One is for setting the environment variables for the user, that is Dell, and second is for setting the environment variables for the entire system. For now, as I am only the user who is using my PC, so I'll be setting the variables for my Dell user only. So for setting the variables, what you need to do is you need to click on this path. If this path is not created for you already, then what you have to do is you have to click on new, and then you have to provide the variable name as path, and then you have to provide the value which I'll be telling you inside this variable value field, and click on OK. But for me, as the path is already created, I'll be double clicking on it. Once we are double clicked inside it, what we have to paste over here is we have to paste the location of the bin directory over here. So we need to go back to our directory, the src folder where we have pasted the Flutter folder. So go inside the Flutter folder and then go inside the bin directory. Once you are inside the bin directory, then what you have to do is you have to click on this bar over here. So when you will be clicking on this bar, it will be selecting the entire location of the current directory. You have to either copy it or you have to cut it from here. And inside the environment variables window, this edit environment variables window which is opened at the last. So what you have to do is you have to click on here, and then you have to paste it, the location which you have just copied from the bin directory. So once you have pasted it, you have to click on OK. But for me, as I have already pasted it over here, so I'll be clicking on cancel for now. Once you have done this, you have to click OK from here. The apply button is enabled, then you have to click on apply. For me, as I haven't made any changes, then apply button is disabled. You can first click on apply button and then click on OK so that the variables or the changes can take place. Now to check if Flutter is installed inside our computer, what we have to do is we have to click on start again, and then we have to type terminal. So it will be providing us with an option of command prompt. Let me zoom it a bit. You have to type over here where Flutter. Once you will be typing the command and clicking on the enter button, it will be providing you with the location of the environment variables which you have set. So it is showing us over here that we have stored the SDK for the Flutter in this particular location, and whenever we will be running the Flutter commands, it will be using the Flutter which is provided in this location for running or executing the things which we will want. One more thing which you can do to check if Flutter is installed correctly or not is you can run Flutter Doctor over here. You can also add dash v over here, but we'll be doing it a bit later. Let's run this one now. So what Flutter Doctor does is Flutter Doc will go through all your computer and see if all the things which are necessary for running a Flutter application are implemented correctly or not. It will be checking if the IDE is installed, the devices which are available, if the Flutter is installed, and Android toolchain is working fine or not. So it will be checking all the things. For me, you can see over here that it is providing all the green checks over here, but for you it will only be providing you with the green check for the Flutter. I'll be telling you how you can make all the checks green in the next video, when we'll be seeing about the IDE installation and the emulator installation. Now let us see what dash v does when we add it to the Flutter Doctor command. So when I'll be adding dash v, it will be providing me with much more info for each of these particular fields which it has shown over here. So you can see over here that earlier for the Flutter it only shows what the channel is and what the version of the Flutter is. But for now in the Flutter you can see that it is also showing me, so for the Flutter you can see that it is also showing me with the complete Dart version, the engine revision, and etc. It is also showing me with the other things which are available and which are set up properly for our Flutter to or our Flutter apps to run inside our computer. So this was for the Flutter installation part. In the next video we'll be seeing how we can install the emulators, the IDEs, and how we can set up a physical device for running a Flutter application, and why do we need a physical device when we are running a Flutter application. So make sure to check that video out, and if you haven't liked this video until now, then make sure to drop a like, share this video with each and everyone whom you want or who wants to learn Flutter, or in your communities where people are discussing or talking about Flutter. You can also subscribe to the channel so that you will be getting the updates about the latest videos which we'll be posting. So videos are posted every alternate day related to the Flutter development, so make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Also, link for Newton School is given in the description, so make sure to check them out as well, and thank you for watching this video.